born Harry Roger Webb. On October 14, 1940, in Lucknow, India, Cliff Richard's rise to fame was shaped by early hardships and a deep love for rock and roll. After moving back to England with his family following India's independence, he grew up in post-war Britain, where resources were scarce. Despite these challenges, he found solace and inspiration in music, particularly in American rock and roll. With idols like Elvis Presley and Little Richard guiding him, young Cliff's passion for music soon set him on the path to stardom. By the late 1950s, he had already earned the title of Britain's answer to Elvis with the release of Move It in 1958, a track that established him as a rock and roll pioneer and signalled the arrival of a new musical era in the UK. The Shadows and the rise of a star Cliff Richard, alongside his band The Drifters, later renamed The Shadows, became a defining force in British rock and roll. With their unique sound, Cliff's smooth vocals, and The Shadows' instrumental brilliance, they captured the essence of the early 1960s. Hits like Living Doll, Please Don't Tease, and The Young Ones defined an entire generation, making Cliff a teen idol and household name. His music resonated with the youth of Britain, capturing the spirit of the times while bringing fresh sounds to the forefront of popular music. As the Beatles began to rise to fame, Cliff had already carved out his place in music history, shaping the British invasion and influencing countless future artists. Transitioning through changing times. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Cliff Richard adapted to the shifting musical landscape throughout the 1960s and beyond. As musical trends evolved, so did his sound. Cliff's ability to reinvent himself kept him relevant even as the Beatles dominated the global stage. His transition from rock and roll to pop ballads and even gospel music showed his versatility as an artist. Hits like Congratulations, which earned him second place in the 1968 Eurovision Song Contest, and Devil Woman in the 1970s, displayed his ability to remain a fixture in the music scene while still connecting with his ever-growing audience. By maintaining a wholesome image, Cliff kept his music pure and accessible, appealing to listeners across generations. A career built on integrity and faith. Cliff Richard's career was built on a foundation of integrity and a deep Christian faith. His conversion to Christianity in the mid-1960s profoundly impacted his music, bringing spirituality to the forefront of his work. Cliff's gospel albums reflected his faith, while his commitment to living a clean, moral life made him stand apart in an industry known for scandal and excess. Throughout his career, he never relied on controversy to stay relevant. Instead, his devotion to music and his values resonated with fans, allowing him to maintain a reputation as one of the most beloved and respected figures in the entertainment industry. His dedication to both his faith and his art became an inspiration to many. Longevity and unyielding popularity. Cliff Richard's career spanned over 6 decades, a rare feat for any musician. Despite the changing tides of pop culture, his ability to stay relevant was a testament to his adaptability. With over 250 million records sold worldwide, he remains one of the best-selling music artists of all time. His remarkable longevity is reflected in the fact that he is the only artist to have had a top 5 hit in the UK across every decade from the 1950s to the 2010s. His career saw many triumphs, including a knighthood in 1995, making him the first rock star to receive such an honour. Cliff's resilience and consistent success set him apart as a figure of stability in the constantly shifting world of popular music. A private man in the spotlight. While Cliff Richard became one of the most famous figures in the UK, he has always remained a deeply private person. Despite decades in the public eye, Cliff chose to focus on his music, faith, and close-knit friendships, rather than pursuing the fame that often comes with celebrity. He never married, choosing instead to maintain a quiet life. occasionally retreating to his homes in the UK, Barbados, and Portugal. Those who have worked with him speak of his professionalism, punctuality, and respect for others. Even in the glare of constant public attention, Cliff Richard's humility and grace have made him a beloved figure among fans and colleagues alike. Continuing to perform with passion, even in his later years, Cliff Richard shows no signs of slowing down. His passion for music remains as strong as ever, and he continues to tour and record with the same enthusiasm that characterized his early career. His concerts are a celebration of a lifetime of music, filled with nostalgia, joy, and heartfelt gratitude for the fans who have supported him over the decades. In 2013, he released the fabulous Rock and Roll Songbook, a collection of timeless classics that paid tribute to the early days of rock and roll. The album's success reaffirmed Cliff's enduring popularity, peaking at number 7 on the UK Albums Chart and becoming certified gold. This release was just one of many that proved that even after more than 50 years in the spotlight, Cliff Richard remained as relevant as ever. A tribute to rock and roll legends, Cliff Richard's album Just Fabulous Rock and Roll, 2016, continued the celebration of the genre that made him famous. It featured fresh interpretations of classic hits, showcasing his talent and passion for the music that shaped his career. One particularly moving moment on the album was a virtual duet with his late friend Elvis Presley, a moment that resonated deeply with fans. The album performed well on the charts, peaking at number 4, and its success demonstrated Cliff's ability to still capture the hearts of both old and new fans. This tribute to rock and roll solidified his place as one of the genre's most enduring figures, a testament to his legacy as an artist. New music and continued success. Cliff Richard's musical journey continued into the 2020s, with the release of Rise Up in 2018, his first album of original material in 14 years. The album's title reflected his unyielding spirit and determination to overcome challenges, a message that resonated with his longtime fans. The album was met with critical praise for its uplifting themes and dynamic sound. It rose into the UK top 10, reaffirming Cliff's place in the modern music landscape. He followed up this success with Music, The Air That I Breathe in 2020, an album that showcased his versatility and connection to the songs he performs. These projects proved that, despite the years, Cliff Richard's artistry and relevance had not diminished. Reflecting on George Harrison, a deep friendship. At 85, Cliff Richard has begun to reflect on his past with a new honesty, particularly about his friendship with George Harrison. The two first crossed paths in the early 1960s, with Cliff already a star and George still a member of the Beatles. Despite their different backgrounds and musical paths, the two developed a mutual respect for each other's artistry. Cliff, a devout Christian, and George, a spiritual seeker exploring Hinduism, often spoke about their faiths with deep respect for one another. Cliff recalls their conversations about God and spirituality, where they shared a common desire for peace, love, and truth, even though their beliefs differed. These exchanges, filled with curiosity and respect, became some of the most meaningful moments of Cliff's life. The legacy of George Harrison. As George Harrison's fame grew, Cliff Richard continued to admire his deep spirituality and the authenticity he brought to both his music and his personal life. Despite the pressures of fame, George's ability to step away from the spotlight and focus on his personal journey resonated deeply with Cliff. He recalls how George would play his sitar in intimate settings, not for performance, but as an emotional expression of his inner world. For Cliff, this quiet humility was inspiring. He also admired how George's music, which often reflected his spiritual quest, impacted not just the music world, but also those who sought peace and meaning. George's ability to balance fame with introspection was something that Cliff admired deeply. Cliff's final reflections on George Harrison. The loss of George Harrison in 2001 affected Cliff Richard deeply. Though they weren't close friends who saw each other regularly, the bond they shared had a lasting impact on Cliff. In the years following George's passing, Cliff reflected on the qualities that made him not just a Beatles legend, but a man of deep character. He admired George's dedication to spiritual growth, his willingness to step away from the limelight, and his unyielding pursuit of peace. Cliff's reflections on George Harrison serve as a moving tribute to their friendship, one built on mutual respect and admiration. Despite their differences in faith, they both sought the same thing: truth, love, and inner peace.